going on YouTube? Gonna do the Sugar Bowl preview for the 2015-2016 bowl season. So obviously I already got 3 of my videos done. We'll put those links in the description below like I have done for every video so far. And yeah, let's go ahead and start with my 3 keys to victory for Ole Miss. Sorry if I didn't say this already, it's Ole Miss and Oklahoma State. So, Ole Miss did finish as the 2nd best team in the SEC. Kind of weird to think that a 3-loss team was 2nd in the SEC, but SEC West kind of ended up cannibalizing itself. So start with the first one, which is less than 2 turnovers. Chad Kelly has gotten a little bit turnover happy as the year's gone on. I believe he's thrown 12 picks this year. I want to say somewhere in that region. So the games were really going to be put in his hands. Ole Miss does not have much of a running game, and for the entire season, it really has been put in his hands. He's played pretty well. He's got a lot of wide receivers to work with. Obviously, Laquan Treadwell being the best of them. Excuse me. And he's going to have to protect the ball here. This is an Oklahoma State defense that has proved that they could turn the ball over. That is sort of a bend but not break defense. A pretty common defensive scheme for Oklahoma State. This is also a defense that's been a little bit porous in the last couple games, so see if Ole Miss can take advantage. So my next one is pressure Mason Rudolph. Obviously, he's just getting off foot surgery. He's not the most fleet quarterback on foot. Obviously, the better one is J.W. Walsh at running the ball. And while he can escape the pocket, he can run if he has to. If you can pressure him, especially start dropping his confidence. One thing I've noticed this year watching pretty much every game from Oklahoma State is once Mason Rudolph has 1 or 2 bad turnovers or 1 or 2 bad plays that are pretty much on him, he starts losing his confidence and it really starts going downhill from there. And obviously he's got to prevent that from happening. So yeah, if you can get pressure on him, start making him a little bit maybe a little bit turnover happy, then it plays into a big favor for Ole Miss. So third one is play 60 minutes of football, or play 60 minutes of 110% hard football and defense. Ole Miss has been a team that plays up and down to their opponents on defense. They played a lot of close games this year. Think back, obviously, beating Alabama. Defense played all right. I mean, Alabama still scored 37 points, but this is an Alabama team that really normally doesn't have to score 37 points because their defense holds the opponent. I mean, I don't think that Oklahoma State's seen a defense like Ole Miss's so far this year. It's really hard to say because the Big 12 and SEC are such different worlds for football, but I really don't think that Ole Miss's defense is going to have a problem playing a full 60 minutes. And if they do, then I think the fact that Oklahoma State's a little bit inconsistent from quarter to quarter will at least mask it a little bit. Alright, so move into my 3 keys for Oklahoma State. And first one is 125 plus rushing yards. Now, that doesn't sound like much at all. It actually sounds like a pretty bad game. But for Oklahoma State this year, that would be fantastic. They average, I want to say somewhere in the ballpark of like 105 yards per game. And it's just sad to watch. There's something like 111th, 113th in the nation in rushing. Might be even less than that. Again, these are 2 teams that do not run the ball well, so it's not just Oklahoma State that has the problem, but Ole Miss, it's more of a running back problem than an offensive line problem, I think. Obviously, the offensive line hasn't gotten many great pushes this year, but Oklahoma State, the problem completely roots from the offensive line. It's been miserable this year, and if they can get 125 plus rushing yards, obviously probably most of them are going to be with J.W. Walsh in the ball game. And that'll go a long way towards actually having a pretty balanced offense. So the second one is win the turnover battle. This is a thing that Oklahoma State has actually done very well this year. Even in the Baylor game, they still won the turnover battle, I'm pretty sure. The only game they really got just throttled in the turnover battle was the Oklahoma game, and I think they didn't do so hot in the Texas and West Virginia games either. They turned the ball over a couple times, but they were able to get a couple turnovers as well. Mason Rudolph has not been a great quarterback on the road this year, but this doesn't really qualify as a road game, so I think he'll be fine. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is an Ole Miss defense that, while it has played well this year, has pretty much been a defense that does what it has to win. They let up 37 points to Memphis, 53 to Arkansas. like I said, 37 to Alabama, and Alabama offense is not great. They let up 38 to Florida. Granted, that was with Will Grier. Well, like I said, this is a defense that has struggled at times. It's been pretty inconsistent this year, but they've also had very good games. Holding Texas A&M to 3, holding Mississippi State to 27 when I believe Mississippi State won the possession battle of that game. Those are pretty big accomplishments for that defense. So, and the third one is the biggest key for Oklahoma State, which is not playing from behind. They play, it seems like every game this year, maybe outside of the TCU game, Kansas game, that's even the Iowa State game, they played from behind. They still won, but it was kind of a last-second heroic sort of thing. Baylor game, they almost came back, but it was just a little too late. You play from behind against an offense that good, and it's going to come back to bite you. And then OU just completely stomped them. They got an okay start, and then after that, it just all went downhill. Balanced offense, not playing from behind, because this is an Ole Miss team that does like to start fast, and if Oklahoma State gets too far behind, then this is a defense that can lock down. And this isn't an offense that's going to put up an extraordinary amount of points most games, but they can pull away. Like I said, they do have the ability to. The problem for Ole Miss is running the football, because if they do get up, then they're going to have a tough time running the football, and Oklahoma State is actually a very, very good defense at stopping the run. So, moving to my prediction, and as many of you guys know, obviously, if you can see the logo in the description below, I am an OSU fan. I go to OSU, but I have a bad feeling about this game. I'm going to pick Ole Miss. I think it'll be close, but it feels like a game where Ole Miss will actually meet the spread. I feel like they're going to win by 7. Oklahoma State's played very well in bowl games the last couple of years when they haven't had to play the SEC. Cotton Bowl in 2013, I guess technically, actually I don't know if it was technically the new year yet or not, but Cotton Bowl that year lost, I believe it was 41-31. Seemed like they were about to tie the game. Then Michael Sam got a game-winning turnover and ran it back for a touchdown. But like I said, it's hard to predict this game. This is one of the hardest games to predict because both teams have been up and down so much this year. Both teams have had very successful years. Ole Miss defying expectations a little bit, and Oklahoma State defying expectations a lot. But like I said, should be a really interesting game to watch. If you like unexpected games that are going to be medium to high-scoring games with a lot of weird things going on, this is the game for you. So like I said, going with Ole Miss in this one. Just a couple more things, like I've been saying in every video. I'm going to have the links to my 3 other previews in the description below. I also did my overall bowl game prediction video. If you want to go see that, check out my channel. And I'll put the links to my handles to my social media in the description below as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah.